What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, I am reacting to a hypothetical trade offer that Jeremy Fowler on ESPN put out here. I'll actually pull it up. The Indianapolis Colts are among the few teams that Jeremy Fowler brought up. A few other people were talking about different teams that they think could trade for Hendrickson, and Jeremy Fowler chose the Colts. So he was saying the Colts would be giving up a second round pick this next year and then a fifth round pick in 2027, and the Colts could get Hendrickson there. It says, why does this deal make sense? The sort of urgent move from Indy general manager Chris Fowler would solidify the edge of new coordinator Lou Anarumo's defense. Anarumo would gladly reunite with Hendrickson after they spent 4 seasons together in Cincinnati. Says it's clear the Bengals aren't getting a first rounder for Hendrickson, or else the deal would have been done by now. But the elite pass rusher still has immense value. They would be smart to capitalize on a trade like this if they aren't going to pay him what he wants. The Colts have around $20 million in cap space to orchestrate a new contract for Hendrickson. Now, obviously, like we said, guys, the Colts do have the money to pull this move off. I believe, as it currently sits, the Indianapolis Colts sit just over $20 million. So just over $20 million as of right now. And this year, Hendrickson is supposed to be owed a little over $16 million. So that's for this year. And then obviously they need to develop a contract extension for the next 2 years or so after that, which you can move some money around. You're going to have chances to do that. That's fine. But needless to say, from a cap standpoint, the Indianapolis Colts could still make this move happen. Remember, Hendrickson showed up to OTAs for the Bengals and said that he's very disappointed in the lack of communication with the Bengals, and they are clearly not in as much of a hurry to get a deal done as they were with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And it's getting under Trey Hendrickson's skin. So a team like Indianapolis, they come in, they can figure something out. A team that, one, has the capital from a draft standpoint, trade standpoint, and, cap standpoint. And secondly, I mean, we could use a Hendrickson, albeit you have a lot of players on that edge group right now. But in retrospect, to me, that's why I'm even more okay if you wanted to trade away one of these defensive end pieces that you don't need anymore and be able to solidify a trade. I'll be completely honest, guys, giving up a second rounder next year and a fifth rounder next year, I'd be fine with giving up more, to be completely honest with you. I really am. I mean, is a second rounder really going to piss anyone off about giving up for him? Not really. And I mean, we're giving up potentially giving up a third or a fourth, like in the years to come, or we give up another player that, isn't going to be under contract after this year anyway. Like, I'm not worried about that. It definitely would make a lot of sense. And if it is true that, Hendrickson is just not willing to deal with the Bengals, and he truly isn't going to play under that contract, and, the Bengals are going to botch this kind of trade right here would make a lot of sense. Again, I think me personally, I would be okay with giving up a little more if that's what it took, because then you would be getting a number one on the edge. So now you would have a number one on the edge, a number one at the linebacker, a number one at corner, and a number one at safety. And that is legitimate. That defense would be legit. We've been talking about it all offseason about whether or not the Indianapolis Colts can figure out a way to get Trey Hendrickson out of Cincinnati. Sure, there's still the option that Cincinnati wises up and gives him the money that he wants. There's also the possibility they just continue to let him go and they get what they can for him. Again, people kept saying, oh, he's worth a first rounder. He's not. You're not going to get a first rounder for him, guys. You're not. Because if you were, like Jeremy said, it would have already happened by now. It would have. The draft is gone. Nobody is calling right now, or at least not giving out big offers. It's just not going to happen. So, Indy, make the move. Go all out. Figure it out. Make that defense a top 10 defense. A top 10 defense that has Trey Hendrickson, DeForest Buckner, has Zaire Franklin, and has Charvarius Ward and Cameron Bynum in it. That is a top 10 defense. That's a top 10 defense. If this team gets Trey Hendrickson, you officially have a top 10 defense in the league. So go make the move. Go make the move. Figure out the details later. Make the move. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. And as always, Colts.